Now let's talk to National Secretary of the APC, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, who joins me live on TVC News at 10. Senator Bashiru, thanks for joining us on the news tonight. Procedural issues have now been raised regarding how lawmakers voted on the proclamation by the president today. You know, some observers have cited a procedural breach where no member was able to move for the division of the House so that votes could be taken. They say in such matter of national interest like this, the House rule requires that the votes are taken and recorded and even published in at least 2 national dailies. You are a senator, at least one-time senator. Are you familiar with these rules?
I'm not. You see, Nigeria is an interesting country. A parliament has, inherent power to regulate its own, procedure. And unfortunately, I may say, using a colloquial word, it's only in Nigeria that people take Panadol for other people's, headache. If eminent National Assembly members have not come to challenge the procedure by which the proclamation of emergency was resolved and approved by the 2 chambers of the National Assembly, I wonder the locus of the meddlesome interlopers that are now seeking to impose on the National Assembly the procedure that ought to have been taken. The plenary of both chambers was publicly aired, and you can see that overwhelmingly, without anybody voicing dissent to the decision, was actually resolved in that regard. And that put paid to the issue of whether requisite resolution of the houses of the chambers of the National Assembly had actually been given.
Another question that arises, Senator Bashiru, is who provides oversight now for the regulations to be made by the sole administrator? Mr. President's prescription of Federal Executive Council has been largely faulted. Now the Senate is talking about the joint committee of both houses. Is there clarity for the Vice Admiral in this regard?
I think in that regard, there will always be the resolution, whatever resolution has come up, modifying the exercise of the emergency power will be forwarded to the president for consideration, and then decision will be taken by parties between the executive and legislature to ensure that the synergy in what has been done. What I think is salutary is that the National Assembly, both chambers of the National Assembly, rose above partisan consideration, and they gave support to the very important decision of the president to salvage situation in Rivers State by exercising his power under Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. And as is required, the power is not that of a dictator. It's a power that requires the assent and the support of the representative of the Nigerian people as represented in the 2 chambers of the National Assembly. All other naysayers, at best, they are not representing the Nigerian people. The only authentic people of Nigeria expected to scrutinize and accept or reject the exercise of emergency power are those who have been elected at the 2 chambers of the National Assembly, and they rose above partisan consideration. They put patriotism above whatever consideration in accepting those exercises of power.
It matters what happens now and the next 6 months. The National Assembly is recommended a panel of impeccable, national leaders who can get these 2 warring factions to sit at the table and negotiate. How challenging do you think it will be to get unbiased individuals, seeing how political this has become?
I don't think it will be difficult to find unbiased people. And I also believe that with the declaration of emergency, it will give room for introspection by the 2 factions to be able to think that the interest and paramount interest of Rivers State people and the Nigerian people should be the consideration even when you are engaging in political contest. Both the legislators and the governor and deputy governor, they swore to uphold the Nigerian Constitution. Section 14 of the Nigerian Constitution expressly states that security and welfare of people should be the paramount purpose of government. And when these are now become sacrificed on the altar of political battle, then that will not augur well for a democratic advancement. So I believe that with this suspension of their powers, they will be able to have period of introspection, and then the River State people will be able to get back, have a government responsive, that will be able to address security and welfare of people of River State. And you know that Nigeria is a monoproduct economy largely now, although Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying his best to diversify our economy. We cannot have a situation whereby the heartbeat of the Nigerian economy will be attacked on the altar of political contestation, turning violent on the part of any gladiator in Nigeria.
Well, the expectation is that this happens fast enough, even before the expiration of the 6 months period, so that the democratically elected officials will return to that state. But that's our time. APC National Secretary, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, thank you for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity.